since, it's New York City, we are going to go to, I'm not sure if this is, other people's first, but, I guess it's my first, so, and you guys are there, but, our first Broadway musical, Broadway musical. And so the Broadway musical we get to see is School of Rock, and School of Rock the musical. And again, this is one of the highlights of the trip, just the musical itself, since this was a blind reaction for me. The whole School of Rock musical was a blind reaction, since this is my first time watching anything School of Rock ever. I didn't watch the movie. I mean, I did watch the movie, but that was after I actually got to see the musical. I saw the musical first before I actually got to see the movie. I mean, the movie came out before I was even born. Can you blame me? I watched the musical before I watched the movie with, Jack Black and Miranda Cosgrove in it. So, yeah, so the musical was a total blind reaction for me, and it was amazing. It was a blast. Baby, you're in the band. Yeah. And so, once the musical, ended, once it was all over, unfortunately, one of the girls, asked me two questions. One being, something normal, and the other one being, an offensive autistic stereotype. So the first question was, something did you like the musical? And I was being honest, yeah. And then, the second question was offensive. And at first it was odd for her to ask her this, but the second question was, did it hurt your ears? If you didn't hear me correctly, then it was, did it hurt your ears? As if, again, an autistic stereotype that, real sensory to sounds and, stuff like that, autism people have strong hearing, and, I know that certain things, maybe, too loud, or, silence, boop, 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 and, it triggers us. Not everyone on the autism spectrum is the same, and with me, I never really had a problem with loud sounds. Even back in first grade, I remember in independent reading time, I was the only kid who was given headphones during independent reading time, and I just wore them anyways because just for fun, and because they made my ears feel comfy. Also, this is an really embarrassing fact, and something that I'm not telling this is the only time I'm actually telling someone this, of, my secret of how I deal with, loud noises. It's an embarrassing fact to, actually admit this, that, the truth is that, this is a cheat of how, I'm cheating at autism, basically. This is my first time admitting this to someone, that, I actually have, I don't really go crazy, but, it's, noticeable that, I hear things, loudly, but, my trick is, first let me restart the whole system. So first I yawn, just restart so I can hear normally. So first just yawn, this is a trick. So yawn, just, to reset the whole system. So okay, so now my ears are back to normal, and you see, I'm not freaking out, even though my voice just got louder. It's not really that big of a deal. So I yawn just to unplug my ear, so now they're set back to normal. And so whenever I yawn like that, then let me yawn again, just so my ears are back to normal. Okay, now my voice just got louder, you see? And so whenever I yawn, just reset the whole system. So I just use it, so yawn, and then so what I usually do is that I either grab my finger, either one of my fingers or my arm, to just, just, and so now my ears are back to, silencing them. And usually whenever I do this then people think that I'm sneezing when I'm just, covering my ears. bringing my ears back to normal. Like, I never tell anyone this until now that, first you yawn like this. And then... So, like, just a little hack. So, if you have problem with dealing with loud noises, then, just a fun hack for, people dealing with loud noises who are autistic or something like that. Like, just a little hack. Like, sometimes I forgot I even have a problem with loud noises because I'm so used to doing this. Yawning and then... like that, or fingers, either way. So back to the question and the red flag when she asked me, did it hurt your ears? Like, again, like, such an odd question, don't you think? And so I was just like, no, because it didn't hurt my ears. Heck, break up the you're in the bed! Wish I actually said that. Okay, but I just said no. And so now that we went through all the, the highlights and the red flags, we are going to, like, skip to, like, when we're about to, the end of the trip, which was a total nightmare, trust me. And, like, at the time, the goals were still being nice, except, at the end of the trip, it seemed like they were being a little bit too nice. Well, again, they assist to, like, help, like, bring my bags, start packing for me and bring my bags. And, I said that I was fine, but, they just assisted. And, again, a little bit too nice, especially what happens after, once we actually get on the bus. When getting on the trip, they said that, they left my blanket. They left my blanket in, the bag with all, the clothes and all the stuff. Like, they packed my blanket in, like, the bag with all the clothes and stuff. They said that they were sorry. And, and I remember I gave, like, a sort of, like, passive-aggressive, like, angry look at them. Like, I was being serious. Like, like, and, they kept asking me if I was okay. And they knew that I was pissed. They knew that I was pissed. But, it wasn't really a big deal, I guess. But yeah, I hate to mention that part, but, it's necessary for what happened at the end of the trip again. Just a total disaster. And so, yeah, no big deal. And so, the people, like, I was trying to find a seat, and, they insisted that I sit next to my sister, who I barely talked to. So, this was gonna be interesting. Especially what happens next. And so, that's when I saw, my friends talking to my sister. And, like, I was, like, in the middle of them. And so, I was just, like, befuddled or something like that. Oh my god, I'm using such big words. I was confused and befuddled. Like, the way they talked to my sister was, way different than how they talk to me. Like, the way they act towards my sister, like, they treat her like, a normal person, was, like, way different than, how they acted like I was a kid. Like, they were having, normal conversations, asking normal questions, which, I guess because she's not autistic. And I was just like, why didn't they do that with me? Like, all of them was pretending that, I wasn't there and I wasn't hearing what they were saying. Like, they just pretend that, I wasn't there. I was just invisible. I wasn't there. Like, it was pretty strange, don't you think? And I think I remember, like, referring to me as the third person, like, she and her, like, I can hear you guys. Like, just because I'm autistic doesn't mean that I'm deaf. And so, I got a little bit jealous by how, like, my friends are, treating my sister normally while, how they treat me. Like with my sister, they could be asking, can I borrow a book or, like, something like that? And, with me, they asked, what was the question? Oh, yeah. Did it hurt your ears? Like, what kind of, like, compare the two questions of, can I borrow a book or did it hurt your ears? Like, frig. I wouldn't be surprised if the question they would ask me during the trip is, hey, Brittany, where do you buy your autism shoes? In which autism section at the autism store? And buying them with your autism money. Because that's me, the autism goal. Yay.